So you had enough of your current job, perhaps because the salary is no longer in line with the cost of living, or you hadn't had a pay rise for years or bonus for years. Maybe you lost motivation because you have not been challenged. There's a lack of opportunities and so forth. So you start looking at a career switch as an answer to your problems, and in particular, the tech industry. So in this video, I'll share with you a strategy and an approach which has worked for me and allowed me to change or switch to a tech career and change my life and the life of my loved ones. Let's get to it. So just to be clear, I will not be trying to sell you any courses or anything of the sort in this video. So the aim of this video is to give you some pointers and some ideas and get you thinking about methods in how to increase your chances to get yourself into the tech industry. So there are some steps that you need to go through, starting by what field in the tech industry do you want to get into? I mean, the tech industry or the IT industry is a very, very wide field. So you need to find out what area. Is it cybersecurity? Is it networking? Is it cloud computing? Is it data centers? Is it software development or engineering? So you basically need to do some research to find out where you want to be and what suits you, what makes you happy, where do you think you will thrive and progress and so forth. And nobody can answer this for you. You have to find out for yourself. And there are no set methods to actually get the answers to this. So my advice is to ask contacts. So if you have, for example, if you have contacts that work in various parts in this industry, in the tech industry, just reach out and ask them, what do you do on a day-to-day? What is your day like? And so forth. Get some feedback. And hopefully you'll get some answers, something that excites you, something that you sound, okay, this could be me, I would love to do this, the prospect sounds really good, and so forth. Another way, which is something that I have done myself, is to go through job ads at the time. So I will go online and just start researching very blindly and finding out what are the recruiters and employers looking for. In a sense, it was not just the technical requirements that I was looking at, but also the personal attributes. What kind of attributes they were looking for in a future employee. Could be very organized, or has a bachelor, has a degree in computer science. So those ones I knew as a starter, they were a little bit out of my league. So I started narrowing down my search field. The other thing that you could also do is to look up some videos online. There's quite a few videos around about, for example, I think the titles will be in the line of a day in the life of a network engineer, a day in the life of a software developer, and so forth, a cybersecurity engineer. So by all means, watch those and get an idea or a feel of what are the day-to-day like. But please do take this one with a pinch of salt, because they are to a certain extent embellished and make to look very glamorous somehow. And you see people taking almost an hour and a half break, and followed by going out with the colleagues, having a cafe latte and playing some table tennis before going back to the desk and do a little bit of work. So it looks very, very good. But I doubt very much, and I can tell you that is not the reality of things. So it gives an idea, but it's not completely accurate. So do your research and find out, what kind of field you want to get yourself into. It's very important. It could also be things that you already have an idea about. So if you like securing, and if you like playing detective and you like protecting, then maybe you should look at cybersecurity. If you like sitting down and monitoring and taking action when problems occur and so forth, maybe you should be looking at network operations center engineer. And if any of this is attractive to you, for example, you like to be in IT, but you hate to be trapped in an office 8 or 10 hours a day, and you'd rather be out then perhaps a field technician is something you should look into. So you effectively, you'll be driving your car or your van with a lot of equipment in the back of it and going from one location to the other, either to fix and repair or to install and roll out a new equipment. So this is also considered a tech job. And it does carry some of the perks of a tech job, but you're not trapped in an office. Perhaps you will have to be in an office from time to time for training or talking to colleagues or taking instructions and plans and things like that. But most of the time you'll be out in the field. So you have to figure out what is it that you want to be in the tech industry and what will make you happy. It's very, very important. If you're making a switch of careers, then do a lot of hard work and research to make sure it's the right, or you switching to the right thing. This said, the IT industry or the tech industry is quite flexible. Once you learn one of two things and you had enough experience and you start being good at it, you can actually cross-train and jump to something else. So if you are in networks, for example, you're a network engineer, you can switch to cybersecurity and vice versa. You can switch into cloud computing. You can put in a lot of hard work and become a software developer. So once you're in, you are in. And basically, as we will talk about later, you just need to get your foot in the door first. But give yourself a good start. So the next things you have to find out, and this is a hard one, is if you have what it takes. So you need to take a very deep look at yourself and a very hard look at yourself and be brutally honest. Do you have what it takes to get into this industry? This industry is not easy. It would require a lot of commitments. It's forever changing. It's evolving all the time. So you need to always play catch up. You need to spend also a lot of your spare times, weekends or evenings, educating yourself, because it doesn't stop. Technology evolves all the time. So do you have the stamina to do this? Do you have what it takes? To get started, you also need to ask yourself, do you have all the skills that are needed, and are you willing to put in the hours and the hard work to get into it? For example, and the good news is that you don't need to have a degree in computer science. You don't need to have a university education and so forth to get into this industry. Absolutely not. If you have common sense, if you have logic, if you did okay in your college subject, scientific college subjects such as mathematics, algebra, and physics, then you stand a very, very good chance to get in this industry. So what can you actually do to find out or to figure out if you have what it takes? So if you have been, for example, the go-to person in your office environment or in your company, the go-to person when the printer is broken or when the computer is broken, and you manage to fix it without prior knowledge, or you will go and do a Google search and you use some detective work to troubleshoot and so forth, then you have the mind for it. If you also have been, for example, at home changing hardware on a PC, on a computer, or for your friends and neighbors, upgrading hard disks, upgrading sound cards, video cards, and so forth, cabling things, putting up a new router in your home and so forth, then you also stand a very, very good chance because you're familiar with these things. So evaluate yourself, be hard on yourself, and figure out if you're cut out to do this. If you have the stamina to learn and to read a lot of documents and read them fast and progress and spend evenings studying and so forth. And finally, the most important thing, how do you get your foot in the door? Because this is what it is about. You can do all the assessments and find out where in the IT industry or the tech industry you want to be. And yes, you've done really well in college, or you may also have a university degree and so forth. But how do you get yourself in this industry? So this is going to be very, very hard, and it will take a lot of time and a long time to achieve. So the starting point is to reformat your resume. So whatever job you've been doing before or you're currently doing, you can't just lay that in your resume and present it to recruiters or employers. You need to tweak it in a way that it emphasizes the technical things that you have been doing. So I'm not saying lie in your CV. That's a big no-no. Do not oversell yourself and do not lie in your CV, right? So the things that you could be doing, for example, if you are, like I said earlier, if you're the go-to person when the printer breaks or the computers are not on the internet, and you actually do something to fix it, and that's beside your main job. You're doing something completely different, but someone in the office or in the company figured out, that person is very computer literate. He's fixed my thing last time. Let's go to him, and becomes a habit. Put that in your resume. Put that you do some support, internal IT support, and be specific. Equally, if you, for example, are very used to Microsoft Office, use that. Put that in your resume. Say that you're using your Excel, and maybe you have even played a little bit with macros, so you can say that you've been automating things and so forth. Put that in your resume also. So you have to look at the things that will show you in the light of a technical person, somebody who can do technical stuff. If you have been fixing or changing hardware at home or for friends and family, put that in your resume also. So you have to be very clever about these things and enhance them and emphasize them on your resume. You can't be sending a resume where all what an employer will see is that you've been doing job A, B, C, and D that has nothing to do with technical or IT stuff. So you need to emphasize those things. And you'll be clear because you're not going to be applying for a top position. You're applying for an entry level. So it is acceptable that you are not doing this full time. You're not completely experienced in what you're asking for, but you have the minimum requirements. You have a knowledge. You can handle yourself. You can be trained. And you emphasize that part in your resume. So that is very, very important. And that would be the biggest hurdle for you. The second thing is how to make your resume even better. So you put in all these skills that you're doing ad hoc in your office or company or at home and so forth, or things that you've learned here and there. But how do you make yourself a lot more credible and sound very serious? So the next thing is, of course, you need to take courses, and even better, take certifications after the courses. Once you do that, this is a major milestone in this process, because you take the courses, especially if they're paying ones. That means you are committed, you are serious about this. And actually, the other benefit is you are learning from it. You'll be surrounded by equal-minded people. You'll be discussing, you'll be learning new acronyms and so forth. So you are effectively already in the field. And you start thinking with that frame of mind of a technical person. And the fact that you're paying money for these courses, so you're paying this money yourself, shows the employers and the recruiters that you are committed. You are really serious about this. Now, when you, at the end of your courses, whether you paid for them or you took the courses yourself at home, and I will take that in a different video, when you take certifications, recognized certifications, that means you are very, very serious about this. You're committed, you're very serious. And not just that, that means you have what it takes. You have proven that you have what it takes. Because I can tell you there are a lot of people already working in the industry and they're doing really, really well. They don't have these certifications. So when you come in as an outsider and you have certain certifications, that's a fantastic plus. It's a bonus for you and for the employer also. So consider taking courses and consider taking certifications. It will be a lot of sacrifices here, but it'll be well worth it, because what you are saying effectively is that I'm really serious about this, I'm in this, and I'm not here to waste anyone's time. The final thing So you've done everything that you need to do, everything that you should be doing. You need to have bags of lucks. You need to be very, very lucky. You need to be at the right place at the right time. You need to meet the right people. And most importantly, you need bags and bags of motivation, because this is going to be a very, very tiring marathon. It will take a long time to get the right shot, but it is up to you not to give up. So I can tell you from someone who has done it before, it takes a long time. It is worth it in the long run, and you should never give up. If you are committed and you want this, don't give up. Keep doing what you're doing. It didn't work with the first course and first certification. Take another course, another certification. But be clever about it. Find out what's in demand. Find out what's at your level. You know, go for the low-hanging grapes. You know, because at the end of the day, you don't want to start an education or go for a certification that will take you 3 years. You want something that ideally will take you between 6 to 8 months, perhaps, and you learn a great deal in that process. You also don't want to go in an education or a course that will be costing you a lot of money. You don't want to overinvest at starters. So don't be paying thousands of dollars or pounds for an education. These days, you can do a lot of stuff for free by going into YouTube. You can do it very cheap by going into Udemy. I'm not going to mention any courses. Like I said, I'm not selling courses, and this video is not about selling anything. So find out what you can do on the cheap or for free, and do not give up. Just keep at it. Take one course after the other. Find forums. Be part of communities, because this will, first of all, it will give you a fantastic network, but you also enhance your skills. You're talking to people and you're getting a lot of knowledge. So I sincerely hope this has been informative for you. It has been useful. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them in the section below. I'll make time to answer and give you some guidance if it's necessary. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon in another video.